Welcome to Salon Talks. I'm Mary Elizabeth Williams. We are living in hard times, and that is why, more than ever, I need you, David. We need our guest today, David Burtka. He is a cordon bleu trained chef. He's a former Hollywood caterer. He's also an actor, a singer. Go down the rabbit hole on YouTube. Watch his singing clips. It's worth it. Dancer. You've seen him on How I Met Your Mother, West Wing, American Horror Story. You got to play Jessica Lange's husband.
I did.
We all want to be Jessica Lange's husband. 3 years ago, he hosted the award-winning Food Network special Life is a Party with David Burtka. It is a party in the sense that I often want to be hiding in the bathroom, I think. Now he's got, sometimes, like that's my life. And now he's got a new book. It's brand new. It's called Life is a Party, deliciously doable recipes to make every day a celebration. Let's celebrate, David.
Let's celebrate.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so glad to be here. All right, so well, first of all, cheers.
Cheers.
Happy,
I'm so
happy new book.
Happy you guys made one of the recipes for my book. It's an Aqua Fresca.
Right.
So you take pureed fruit and you add lime juice and seltzer, and it's a little nice, refreshing treat.
We've had it out a while, so the seltzer is not super bubbly, but it still kicks, right?
Works out. It's very delicious.
All right. Can we switch? Or
for
are you concerned about my germs or
Not
anything?
At all.
All right.
Unless you're concerned about mine.
You know what? I'm fine. I haven't had a cold in I have kids, so it's been like 4 days since I got sick.
Oh, that's delicious.
Oh yeah, good stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So
let's talk about let's keep drinking and keep talking about everything. You say something really important at the beginning of the book. This is obviously a super fun, happy book. Every single picture, everybody just looks like they're having the time of their lives. You go through the seasons of the year. You have 107 recipes, if I'm not mistaken, and then crafts, all this fun stuff.
Over 300 crafts.
300 crafts.
Party tips, really.
Crafts, tips, games, all that.
Playlists,
hacks if you want to make a recipe simpler, if you want to make it a little more advanced. But you also, right in the introduction, say something really important, which is why we need to do this. Why this is not just about like gorgeous, aspirational, although it is gorgeous and aspirational, but we need to gather. We need to bring people together. And you say there's so many things we have to do, there's so many things we are obliged to do, but there is a reason for doing the things like this that we want to do and the people that we want to be with. Talk about, this is just a manifesto in some ways too, David. I want to get to that.
I love it. Well, you know what? I think we live in such trying times right now. I think there's a sense of us being in our phones and being upset politically and what's going on in the world. And I think we all need a bit of a laugh. And we all need to gather together and grab our family and friends and put together a time that we're sharing memorable moments and being able to smile. I find so much joy in the fact that this book is out today and that hopefully people will read this book and take away some great, wonderful ideas to create beautiful memories for the rest of their lives.
That's what it's about. It's about creating memories. In our
yeah.
family, we have this phrase, life-affirming. We use it a lot when we're just doing something, anything, whether it's a walk in the park or ordering a pizza on a Friday night. But it's just like, we're going to have a life-affirming X, Y, or Z. Because what else are we here for?
Exactly.
Right? You have to keep your head up. You have to put your head up every now and then and look out of your gopher hole, right?
It's for sure. And what other thing do we have? We have family, we have friends. What other common bond do we share? Food. And we all have to eat, so why not eat with each other and make it good, you know? So I really enjoy the fact that I'm able to share this with everybody and a glimpse into Neil and I's lives and how we sort of party. I mean, none of this is made up. These are all parties that we actually threw.
And there are 16 parties in the book, and you actually literally threw 8 of them.
We threw half of the parties. So within each chapter, there's 4 parties. So I threw 2 parties per chapter.
And just actually, because that's your life. Like, and you're going to do it anyway, right? You're just going to do it anyway.
It was wild. I mean, in the morning, I remember once we would do the kids stuff in the morning, sort of the breakfast stuff in the morning, and then we'd do the adult stuff at night. So we would have the snow day with all of the kids bundling up and playing games and being outside. And then at night, I threw a full-on New Year's Eve party. So 30 people in my house, and we're reenacting New Year's Eve in February, and it was amazing. But it actually felt like it was New Year's Eve because we were counting down. We're still finding glitter around the house.
Oh, glitter. Well, they
Glitter.
say it's the herpes of crafts, right?
Exactly.
Because
We're still
you
buying
never get rid of
the
it.
confetti that was all over the floor. And there's some fun pictures with confetti everywhere in the book. So.
Yeah, you have sparkle. Like this is where you're a sadist, because you have sparkle-based crafts in this book.
But I teach you how to do these on davidburtka.com, and you do them actually in a box, a cardboard box, so the glitter doesn't spread.
You contain the glitter contamination, right? Is that it? So you're talking about these parties that you have with your husband and your kids, and there's a real through line for you, and you talk about that in the beginning of the book too. So tell me a little bit about the inspiration coming from your family, that this is part of what you learned as a kid, and something you are passing on to your own kids. Because I feel like sometimes that thread gets lost.
Well, my family entertained all the time. Every weekend was a different birthday party, christening, retirement party, whatever it was. And our family lived about 45 minutes away from all of each other, some closer than others. And we'd always get together. There would be everyone would bring their famous dish to pass, or we'd try new things. And there'd be a huge spread of food. And, they'd play games, and the kids would play, and there'd be music. Sometimes there'd be dancing. And it was just the way of growing up. It really was the way that we lived. And we had this instilled in our mind. And my mom, we were her helpers, and I learned how to make a crudité plate. I learned how to bake. We'd make tiny meatballs. We'd all gather in the kitchen, and tiny meatballs is a team sport in Michigan. So that's just the way we lived. And so my mom instilled that in me, and I'm so glad that she did, because I'm able to share it with everybody else and then pass it down a generation. And the reason I wrote this book is because I got into cooking in a sort of a weird way, because my mom, I was living as an actor in LA and not really having the best time of it. The world in LA, you go out for a lot of stuff that you don't necessarily want to go out for, and your agent's telling you, well, just go out, it's just experience, and people will see you, and blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't loving it. And then my mom ended up getting chemo and dying 20 days later. She got leukemia. And so I thought, I can't go back to acting and get rejected for stuff I didn't want to do in the first place. And Neil was working, and that made it a little bit worse for me. And so I thought, what do I love doing? What's therapeutic to me? I love cooking. I love, whenever I was stressed, I'd make a new stock or try out a new recipe of a cake. And it was something that I really enjoyed. So I went to cooking school, and this is so weird, but my mom ended up giving me some money in her will, and the money turned out to be to the exact cent of what cooking school cost.
Isn't that wild?
Is that crazy?
That's great, though, right?
I mean,
it
it
feels
was
very serendipitous. It feels like a sign from the universe.
And then, I ended up, becoming a chef and working as a caterer and working with a bunch of really great stellar chefs. And I started posting stuff online about recipes I was doing and stuff with my kids, and people started saying, why don't you do a book? And that's sort of how I had this book happening.
And this is a labor of love. You said that you were extremely hands-on, very
beyond.
Like
every little piece is made. The writing to all the recipes, testing the recipes, even all of the photo shoots. Most of the props and things are my dishes and my decor, especially in the Halloween section.
I love the googly eyes.
Yes.
Very cool. More googly eyes in everything.
I agree.
Year-round googly eyes.
I agree. Googly eyes all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, so I was very hands-on, and it took 2 years to do, which most cookbooks take about a year from start to finish. But I was adamant about shooting it seasonally, so you can see the fall colors changing. You can see the spring tulips in bloom, and the fresh produce, the snow, the kids in the snow with the cocoa shot is just a great shot.
It's my favorite. That's my favorite. It's very.
I pulled them out of school for that.
I read an interview where you said that. I've done that too. Who cares, right? Like life is short. Again, life affirming.
No, of course.
Sometimes there is more value in having hot chocolate with your kids than another day at school.
I agree.
There's plenty. I mean, there's plenty of school days, but
yes,
just responsible. Truancy is what I'm talking about, right? So I'm going to do a lightning round with you. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay, here's the lightning round. like I said, you go through this book, you go through like, here are some ways in, you can make it easy, you can make it hard. I'm gonna be the naysayer, and I'm gonna give you the reasons why someone would say, I can't entertain, not me, I'm not a party thrower.
Oh,
and
interesting.
you're going to reassure me.
Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready for it, yeah.
Ding, I'm too busy.
You have time to watch TV, don't you?
I don't know, do I? I mean, I'm too busy. I mean, I may have scrolled through 10,000 pictures of puppies on Reddit today, but I think I'm too busy.
Well, I have to stop you there. I'm sorry, but if you are too busy and you don't feel like doing it, then don't do it. I mean, honestly, if it doesn't call to you, go to another party. Go to a party where someone else is entertaining that loves to do it. But if you're too busy and you can't do it, then don't do it. But if you want to put the time and you want to make a difference in other people's lives, then go ahead and do it.
Ding. Okay. Ding. I do want to entertain. I love to entertain, but I'm on a really tight budget. I mean, I look at this book and there are lobster tails and beautiful fine china. I can't do that. Help me.
Well, sure you can, because you've got friends and family, don't you?
They don't have lobster tails.
No, but you can contribute one of the meals or one of the dishes, and then everyone else can pitch in. You can do a group effort. You can do it together.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why not?
Right? Potlucks.
Yes,
right?
potlucks. I think the day of potlucks is upon us. I think we need to do more of it. I think we're in our phones so much. We need to be more social.
Maybe we can call it crowdsourcing.
Oh,
crowdsourcing your party, and then it'll sound more like
crowdsourcing.
Right.
Yes.
Potluck is too old-fashioned. You won me over, David, in this book when you have the delicious-looking caramelized onion dip, and then there's it's like, but like the Lipton soup mix stuff is really good too.
It's so true.
Oh, it's so good.
You know what I know?
Salty.
Here's a trick. Here's a trick that people don't know. People put one packet in. Try 2 packets in one sour cream.
Oh, that's I assumed. I assumed that was going to be all right. I really secretly do want to entertain, but I'm really an anxious, shy person, and I'm afraid people are not going to like my parties, or they're going to judge me, or it's going to go badly, and I'm getting myself psyched out.
Well, how do you know if you're not going to ever try it? You got to just jump feet first. That's what life's about, right? So go ahead and do it. Try, and if you fail, you fail. Well, who cares? You learn from it. You do it again. That's what we tell our kids all the time.
Right?
Yes.
Like Miss Frizzle.
Yes.
Right? Go out, get messy, try things, make mistakes.
Exactly.
Right?
Miss Frizzle,
we all have to just Miss Frizzle our way through lives,
totally.
right? And know some scientists. I always feel like if you know scientists, it will help you get through everything else in life, because they just they just have to fail 99% of the time.
For sure. How many times I made this lemon sole recipe? It was beyond 7 times. It finally I got it to work. But my kids for a week were saying, "Oh my God, lemon sole again! I can't eat another bite of fish in my life."
I love that you have kids who can get to a place of I can't eat another bite of lemon sole. What is the secret of that?
It's interesting. I think a lot of people placate to their kids, and a lot of people say, "Oh, well, just try it." Okay, well then don't try it. Here's a chicken finger. I think a lot of people just will say, here's another meal, or this is your meal, and I'm going to eat this. We only had one option.
Oh yeah.
What's for dinner? This is for dinner. This is food. It's food. It's what you're eating. There's not an option. So I think that a lot of people will give the kids the option, but I think the kids aren't going to starve. If they're not going to eat it, then they'll be fine. It'll be all right.
Do you have, because I have 2 kids who have very different styles in terms of their eating, and one of them was like me, she'll eat anything, she's super easy, and then the other one is like her dad and hates everything and is a super fussy eater. And she came along and I was like, what? Because I thought I was a genius for raising a kid who was an adventurous eater, and it turned out I was not. So what do you do? What do you do? I mean, I kind of just go like you said, it's just well, here's dinner, and if
right.
I'll put one thing on the plate that I know for sure you like, and then if you don't want to eat anything else, that's fine, you won't starve.
Well, it's interesting. There was a paper I wrote in cooking school where we all have different taste buds. There are super taste buds, super tasters, and there's non-super tasters. So there are people that actually taste things differently than other people. So there could be that, and you do grow out of food tastes and stuff in your life. So I mean, give it time. As long we have a rule in our house, you got to at least try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to eat it, but you gotta at least try it.
And then it's not fraught.
Yes.
Then it's not about like, oh God, like that, people who have that image in their heads of just like, I sat at the table and it was so miserable and so tense. And it's like, and then that's also how you just get, I think, messed up about food and eating and dinner.
There's a lot of people that grow up with that their parents, A, didn't know how to cook, or B, were really picky. So they learned that. But also, I think you can train your baby as well. I read a book called Hungry Monkey by Michael McAllister, I believe his name was. And it debunked all the trends that you're supposed to do with kids. At 6 months, they are able to process salt. They're able to process herbs and spices. So I went to the farmer's market and got carrots and pureed them and put curry in it. And I got peas and I put mint with it. And I was able to give the kids flavors, apples and cinnamon and nutmeg. And they grew up tasting flavor.
Right.
I think a lot of people get the jarred baby food that has just pureed nothing. No salt, no flavor. And they grow up eating bland food.
Which is super American too. You know, like, well, you were just on Rachel Ray, and Rachel Ray writes in her books about like growing up Sicilian, and it's like you're born like eating spicy food, and it's just like they just like that's just what you do from the time you're a toddler is you're just gnawing on delicious spicy meat, and then that's what's normal to you. But I think there is a fear of that, and there is this. I want to ask you about this because it's like getting to the point where you can throw a party when there is such a de-emphasis on just basic cooking skills and just basic skills in general. There are a lot of people out there who don't know how to even enter their kitchen and don't know how to chop up a carrot, David, right? I mean, it is really becoming a lost, not art, but skill.
Yeah.
So what do we do to remove that intimidation? I mean, you do that a lot in your book where it's like, it's okay to just like order some food. It's okay to just make that lip to dip.
Look at some of the recipes, see what you can do, see what you can aspire to. And also if you can't do that, then source out the food. Put it on nice dishes that you have. And there are places like Gold Belly that you can get. Like
Sharon Stone.
Oh, Sharon Stone. Yeah, I worked for Sharon Stone once, and she got Kentucky Fried Chicken and she put it on nice china, and no one knew.
Right.
No one knew.
And they're like,
I mean, they might have suspected.
Do I taste 11 herbs and spices? Feels like it's 11. Right. It's just about
but it doesn't really matter as long as you're with family, with your friends, and you're having a good time. That's all you have the permission to do.
Yeah.
That's it.
And no one's going to judge you as harshly as you would judge yourself. No one's going to be as judgmental of your efforts as a host. If you bring people into your home and you're welcoming and you're open, like as you said, and like you get the invitations out, you're there. Yeah. That's all you do. Like just invite people in.
Another thing I talk about in the book is when you go to a party, what's the one thing you say to the host? What can I do?
And then you say, then you tell them what to do.
You have a list of 10 things that you can do for people can do for you.
Right. Have your duties.
Because everyone you said duties. You go. I mean, what people end up being in the kitchen anyway.
Right. Put them to work. But think ahead of time of what their tasks can be, and then really. But
then people take that. They take that in, and they really feel that they are a part of something. They've created the night with you.
Right.
And it's more special.
And I think that there is this culture of perfectionism where it's like everything has to look great, and it's like it has to be a one-person show, and it's all about showing off.
Well,
and it's
also
all about
Instagram.
Right.
Everything has to be an Instagrammable moment.
Well, okay, so then let me ask you this, because you have like the cutest Instagram in the world.
Oh, thank you.
Your gram is adorable. Your family is super cute. Every picture in this book is everyone looking like they are having the absolute time of their lives, and I believe they really are. But it can't all be like that all the time, right, David? Please, just to bring me back down a little bit to reality, just to give me just a little taste of like it's not always golden. Have you ever had like a party disaster? Have you ever had a like, oh man, this one just really no?
Yeah, you know what? There are a few things that came to mind. There was one Thanksgiving where I was making it was in New Mexico, and I was cooking for Neil's family. It was the first time I was really cooking for them, and I made these enchiladas that were stuffed with sweet potatoes. So it was a red sauce with enchilada with sweet potatoes, and the marshmallows were on top. And I put it under the salamander. We were at a kitchen, because they used to own a restaurant. And I just burnt the shit out of it. It just was a crust of black. So I ended up having to scrape that off. That was one time.
Because nothing burns like sugar.
Yes.
Nothing burns like sugar.
I remember one Halloween party we had. There was a friend of ours. It was a late, drunken night, and he decided to pick Neil up in his costume and jump in our pool. But in doing so, he slipped and he gashed his whole foot and leg and ended up having to go to the emergency room. That was a disaster. But I have to say, out of all of these disasters, there was one time growing up, my mom attempted to make beef Wellington, and she burnt it so bad. And it was a big family party. I think it was even Christmas. So our grandmother, in pure amazing fashion, got all of us together and we did Goldschlager shots in order to get through the meal. So that's one thing about coming together, being family, and if things screw up, things screw up.
If things,
just drink.
Just in case of emergency, just bust out the Goldschlager.
Yeah.
Right?
Why not?
That's the lesson of that's the number one party tip.
From Grandma.
In the words of Grandma, bust out the Goldschlager. David Burtka, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
I'm going to keep drinking this even when the cameras are off.
Oh, yes.
It's so good. Congratulations again on the book.
Thank you so
Cheers.
much.
It's been a pleasure. The book, once again, is called Life is a Party, and it really is. And if life's a party, don't hide in the back.